Hey, how are you doing today? It's Jason Zlatkus. You're here, Coffee Breaks Thursday. Jason Zlatkus, your host. And this week we have a great show for you. I am really excited about this week. We have our special guest, John Lehr, who, as you guys all know, is the original Geico Caveman. We have some new segments we're going to do this week, including Toy of the Week. And as you know, I am formerly a toy guy. I made my money in the toy business. So this week we are introducing the segment Toy of the Week. So stay tuned for that. And there will be prizes for Toy of the Week. So make sure that you, because that's how I decided how to give away stuff. I decided to give away stuff by doing it on the show and tying in I wanted to somehow show you guys the toys that I have from my old life or my current life that, I might still be collecting toys, but I don't know. Maybe I don't admit to that. But we're going to start doing stuff like that this week. So I'm going to check in. I want to say hello to the fans watching. I see everybody out there. Thank you. I love it when you guys tune in. I love it when you say hi to me. Thank you for that. Thank you to my mom who is watching, and my mom tuned in on time, you guys, it's only because our guest John Lehr is here. And of course to our producer, Warren Madden. Mr. Warren Madden is the one who arranges the guests. If you want to be on the show, get in touch with Warren Madden, not me. Warren is the guy who schedules the guests. So we're talking about branching out. As you know, our guests so far only consist of people who are on Coffee Breaks the Movie, in Coffee Breaks the Movie. And John Lehr, as you know, is in the film. And him and I, through that, have become friends. I'm going to see if he's ready to come on. Give me just a moment here, and let's take a look. It doesn't say he's on yet. This whole timing thing with actors, it's something. So Warren, that's you. As you know, that's you. Get on the guest. So the director is here. He's watching the show. The director of Coffee Breaks is Matt Sly. And the writer of Coffee Breaks is Tracy Simpson. The star of Coffee Breaks is some dude. And he's some actor. You guys probably heard of him. And there's tons of other talent in Coffee Breaks, big Hollywood stars. As you know, we have John Lehr, the Geico Caveman. He's in the movie. So, things this week. What's been going on with me this week? I like to touch base before we get to our guest on that. What's been going on with me this week is a lot of good stuff. Not too much. I haven't shot a lot this week. I've been really focusing on training, and I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I've also been playing Fortnite a little bit, and I got to tell you, I really like that game. So it's taken me away from my career a tiny bit, and that's not good. Don't let video games take you away from your career, people. That's my advice. Who am I to say? I owned a video game store. So video games are a thing. I'm checking to see if our guest, John Lehr, the original Geico Caveman, is here. Let's see if he's here yet. I see he is not here yet. Thank you for saying that I look super handsome. I'm not sure. John Lehr is here, so let's see if we can get him on. And here we go. Let's see. Hey, shout out to my friends from India. I love you guys from on the other side of the world. The other side of the world. I was going to say the other side of the planet. It's the same thing. Thank you guys for all your love and continually watching the show. Here we go. Let's see. John, you are not available to bring you on. What is the deal? I'm trying to bring you on here somehow, John. Okay, we're still trying to add our guest. Stay tuned for Toys of the Week. I've noticed a lot of you guys commenting on my beer glass or my coffee mug or whatever I'm drinking out of. So this week we've got a real treat for you. Here we go. Don't want to spill anything here. This week we're drinking out of a goblet. I've decided each week, since you guys love this feature so much of whatever I'm drinking out of, this week we are drinking out of a goblet. And I have to tell you, this is for you, because I would never drink out of this. This is for you guys at home, so I hope you're enjoying the joke. Here it goes. That is terrible. There's like the metal lip. Oh, that is horrible. Yeah, those are clearly for show. Oh, that joke was not worth the joke. John, how come I cannot bring you on? I see that you're here, but John, it does not allow my guests to come on. It says I can't invite you. So I have this problem every week. I never know how to invite the guest on, and you guys always say the same thing to me. You always say, oh, you just tag your guest. How do I do that? Tell me. Tell me how to do that. I really need to get John on the show because he is the star. Let's see if I can find him. Oh, wait. Is this something? Oh, you guys, I'm going to lose my audience doing this. What? You should know what you're doing, Jay. You're a professional. Am I? I don't know. That's what they tell me. John, I have like too many friends. Warren, get him on the show here. Search. Oh my God, there's a search bar. Did you guys know there was a search bar? John, you don't come up in my friends. There you are. Oh my goodness, I did it. I did it, you guys. I did it. I figured out technology. I'm not that old. I'm super old. You guys know that. But you know I look young. You know I play the part. So anyway, I really do have a coffee mug. That goblet thing is not working. We're doing coffee this week, but that goblet thing was a good gag. I hope everybody saw that because I'm not doing it again. John, are you on yet? We have a lot of audience here. They're excited to see the original Geico Caveman. He is my friend. I've met him in person. I've been lucky enough to meet him in person. So I got to do that. Let's see. John, where are you here? The invites and everything? This is John's first time being on television, as you guys know. So he's new to the camera thing. He's going to come on. He's going to be wearing pajamas, right? Let's see where he's at here. John, I already invited you. I can't do more than that. So we're going to wait till John comes on. I've noticed some things happening lately. I've obviously reached a level. I'm really just waiting for John to come on, you guys, so forgive me. And I'm also flicking away Casting Network's things that pop on constantly. If you're an actor, you know that Casting Networks bombards you with those emails. So I've noticed lately that I've been getting some more hater stuff. Like I made this post the other day, and it was about that I had learned to play professional snooker to do a photo shoot because I didn't want to look like a fool in the photo shoot. I didn't want to have improper stance. I didn't want to do those things. Because even as a model, right, I'm technically an actor. So, and this guy writes and he's like, I could beat you at snooker, and I'm like, dude, great. Like that's great. I've played like 3 games in my whole life. I'm not sure what the purpose of that was, but I loved it. Lately I've been getting some super fun stuff from the people that I don't know if I use the term haters. Really they're supporters because they comment and they do all this stuff. So I love the supporters no matter what way they come in. It's a great package. But lately I've been getting a lot of those. So I have how many haters means you're successful? That's a question I'd like to know is if you get a bunch of people taking your ideas, you get a bunch of people doing these things, does that mean you've reached some level of success? Because to me, I don't know that means that. So, as an actor, as my audience, what do you think? How many haters is necessary for success? Because I'll tell you what, I'm successful. I'm totally successal. And I know some of you, you're not on Netflix, you're not on this, you're not on that. No. I'm successful because I'm happy. I'm super happy. I live the best life in the whole world. So I'm totally successful. You can't beat that. Like happiness is all the goal is, and I'm totally there. So I'm super successful. So I love when the haters come out. So how many haters do you need? Like is one? Okay, one is a start, but is 1,000? Like imagine somebody like Peyton Manning, I think to myself, or I'm sorry, let's go with Tom Brady, right? The more that guy wins, the more people go, I hope he loses. I'm betting against him to lose. So, but he never does. So the deal is that how many, I'm sure that level of success, that level of haters is so great. Anyway, I just was wondering that if you're out there, feel free to answer that question. Let's hope John is ready to go. Thank you. Happy Thursday. It is Coffee Breaks Thursday with Jason Zlatkus. Thank you. Happy Thursday to you. Let's take a look. Where is my guest? The original Geico Caveman? Where is he? That's the thing about Facebook, is it's so easy. Apparently a caveman cannot do it. So we're going to get to the answer to that question when John comes on. Can a caveman not do it? John, where are you? Please. John, how come I cannot click on you to get you in this thing? You say you're here, but a caveman cannot do this Facebook gag. Oh my goodness, there you are. Oh my goodness, guys, we're bringing it. Here we are. We're getting to the show. We got John Lehr adding on the video.
Oh my God.
There you are.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
You know, okay, so welcome to Coffee Breaks Thursday with Jason Zlatkus, and you know who I am, of course. Thank you for being here. You're exhausted. Is it too hard for a caveman to get on Facebook, John? Tell us.
Apparently, Warren kept saying, "Look for the green dot. Look for the green dot." I'm like, I don't. Somebody help me. I'm old, dude.
Dude. You know, it's not you. We have everybody every week. Every week, Warren and I have this discussion about Warren. The guest has to be prepared. Warren, where is the guest? We have this conversation every week. So John, let's get right to the point. I don't want to use up any more of our time fooling around about your ineptitude on the camera. Because as you and I both know, you're brilliant. So
I don't know that.
We all know that. So we all know that, and anybody who's met you knows that. Tell us before we get into your illustrious history of your illustrious hair is what we're seeing right now. Look at this, folks. This is COVID hair. You and I know that you did not cut your hair because of COVID.
I didn't. I cut my hair, and then my daughter said, "Dad, just leave it like that." And now I'm like, "Oh, I'm over it." But anyway,
are you becoming the caveman then? Are you like morphing?
God, you're right. You're right. I'm much more like it.
So tell us one thing I want to know is we're obviously here because of Coffee Breaks the movie. Written by Tracy Simpson, directed by Matt Sly. And I'd say Warren Madden is the producer. You know, he's at least the producer of this show. So
and you're the star.
Thank you. I am the star. Not the biggest name, but definitely. But cast is the star of the movie.
Dude, you're number one on the call sheet. Number one on the call sheet.
You know what? Thank you. I can't beat that. You guys heard it. John Lehr said I was number one on the call sheet. You guys. So
I'm like number 27, I think, on the call sheet.
Okay. Call sheet. But you got cast before I did because you were a big part of why I took the film.
Really?
Oh, yes.
God, I hope it goes well. You're gonna blame me if it doesn't.
So tell us how, because this is what I want to know. How did you get cast? How did you come to be? Obviously, through this movie, you and I became friends. But how did you get cast in the film? How does somebody of your stature get into a movie like this?
My stature. I was walking along the street and holding a sign saying, "Please cast me in something." And somebody from the production drove over and gave me a ride. No, let's see, how did it happen? I think Tracy reached out to me first, and I believe, I could have this all wrong. The 90s were very rough on me, very. It's amazing that I could even function after all the drugs I did in the 90s. But I believe Tracy gave me the script. I read it. I liked it. I love supporting people. I'm very big on supporting people who are trying to make stuff. I do stuff like this all the time. I love it, and it's the reason I got into this business. And so I read it and I said, yeah, look, if having me on board helps you at all, which I highly doubt, but if it does, count me in.
So we already know it helped because like I said, you're the reason I came on board. And when I told my father, as you know, my father's a huge fan. You and I have talked about my dad and how he's a big old fan, and when I told my father, I'm going to be in this movie with the Geico Caveman, my dad's like, wow, Jason, I really like him, Jason, he's great, and so through you, I got some acknowledgement from my father for once, my father acknowledged my career. So, talk to us. Obviously, everybody wants to know, and the Coffee Breaks thing. So you were reached out to by the writer. The writer reached out to you. And so I'm always interested, how people, because I believe it's definitely a business of who you know. Would you agree with that in your stance? Would you agree it's a business of who you know? Or have you just been at the right place at the right time? What would you say?
I mean, it is. I mean, both are correct. I mean, it's like, look, it's like any other industry. Work we like to work with. You know them if they've worked together before, then it's they'll.
We're losing your audio, John. We're losing your audio, brother. Well, is the show still going? If my audience is still there, maybe I'm the frozen one. It says you guys are still watching, so it looks like we've lost our guest for a moment, John Lehr. And as you guys know, he was saying something absolutely fascinating. So, which is an incredible thing. It's kind of like on television. There you are. Oh, now I have an echo. Okay. I still have an echo. Can you hear me? No. Does everybody else have an echo? Kind of like on television. I don't have an echo. I have no idea what's going on in this fabulous show. As you can see, we tape live, folks. We are Breaks Thursday with Jason Zlatkus. We're waiting for our guest, the Geico Caveman. And it is not so easy that a caveman can do it. Driving around Los Angeles and his Prius or whatever he's driving. Caveman drive Prius. You can hear me in 1 second. Oh, there you are. We got you. Okay, John. So I'm not sure where we lost you, but the question was who. Right. So the question was back to, do you know somebody or do you? But tell us. We're gonna forget that question. The question is, tell the people how does one become the guy? I know that your history. I know you were in a comedy troupe. So talk about that a little bit.
Okay, the way I got I did theater in Chicago and did improv in Chicago for years and did bar gigs and theaters and all of that, and then I ended up getting discovered by a talent scout. This sounds so ridiculous, but it's true. A talent scout from Fox heard about our show. It was a successful show. It was a 2-person improv show at David Mamet's theater, great theater in Chicago. And somehow the word got out to Hollywood, and this beautiful television executive, Eve Zerly, came to our show and came backstage afterwards and said, "Hey, if we'd like to fly you to LA to do a showcase for my bosses. Would you be interested?" And we were like, yeah, we would, because theater doesn't pay. We were totally broke, and so we came out to LA. We did a showcase, which means just a show for a bunch of executives. We ended up signing with ICM, which is a big agency in Los Angeles, and with 3 Arts, which is a big management firm, and got a deal with NBC. And that was kind of the start for me. That the way I got the Geico Caveman thing was I had a commercial agent out of that. I think it was ICM, or maybe by that time I was with another, I can't remember. And they called me in. When you have you have a commercial agent, they call you in, and you don't really know. It's not like a regular audition. There's not a lot of planning. You get the scripts at the last minute. You kind of come in and you just wing it, really, or at least that's the way I approach them. And I came in and it was like, "Caveman, what's Caveman? What is this?" And I did the thing, and then said, "You can improv a little bit." And I was like, "Oh shit, okay, great. That's my jam, is improv." So I improvised as this metrosexual caveman, and I got the gig. And I did the first commercial, and I didn't really think much of it. It was weird, I had to have all this shit on my face and all this hair on my chest and everything. And I did it, and it led to another and another. And my wife and I were like, "What?" And my wife Googled it at one point. She goes, "I think this Geico Caveman thing is a big deal," because she Googled it and got a million, hits. And then it kind of exploded, and I ended up doing 25 national spots, and which is a lot. And I ended up, being on television with it and doing, appearances. I went to the Oscars. It was just crazy. It was just crazy.
Right. So how important would you say that it is for an actor to create something? Like, because it started with you creating a two-man show. So how important would you say it is? I mean, because, and then like you said, 25 national spots, that's ridiculous. That's like an actor's dream, right? Like, and like you said too, we walk in, they go, well, what, you know, my family goes, what's your audition for? Well, hell if I know, you know, I mean, I don't know what I'm walking into. What's the film? I don't know what the film is. I was on set the other day. I said, what are we shooting? And they said, oh, I'm talking to the director. What are we shooting? Oh, it's this, it's that, it's this, you know, it's this lady. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I had no idea, you know, you get the sides, you don't know. But how important is it for an actor to create something? Because my wife is always like, Jay, you got to write something. You got to create something. Jay, you got to do something. But I'm always like, no, I don't want to. You know, and you're
doing it right now. You're doing it right now with this. You know, you put yourself out. Everybody's seeing how handsome you are and well-spoken you are. And,
thank you.
You know, you're out. You know,
you guys heard it from the Geico Caveman. Well-spoken, handsome.
Well, I mean, seriously, you have to put yourself out there. And I have friends who are actors who don't do that. They kind of wait by the phone for their agent to call. And look, sometimes that works. That wasn't the way I was able to get work. I never got work that way. I always but it wasn't like I was creating stuff just to get acting jobs. I was creating stuff because I liked it. You know, I like to perform. I like to shoot stuff. I like to produce stuff. I love performing live. I still do it to this day. I love to be on a set, and I love to produce. You know, that's kind of something that's come into my life. I didn't expect it to, you know, that I was a good producer. I didn't even know what a producer was, really. And but I like that, and I've kind of, by creating my own stuff, I've learned that I'm a good writer, you know, and so I've been able to do that as well. So I don't know. It's kind of just, it's less about like, I'm not really thinking in terms of like a career so much as focusing on it as an artist. I have stuff I'd like to share to people. I'd like to entertain them to make their lives easier. That's essentially all it is for me, you know. Yes, I'd like to make a living doing that so that I don't have to work a side job. Every artist I know has had to work a side job. I've certainly had to do that. I haven't had to do that in a long time, and I'm grateful for that. But, you know, it's never been about the money for me. I'm glad to have it. It makes life easier. But,
right, you know, right, and you know the same thing, right? It's really about, to me, it's like I just want to perform, and you know the money, yeah, of course. You know, do I want to eat? Right, sure, but when when I'm on set, or when I go to apply for a gig, I never think, you know, man, I really need the money. And you know, recently I heard like that's sort of the way to approach any audition, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, because then you're focused on something other than what you should be focused on, which is being in the moment and sharing yourself to somebody. You know, I've always looked at performing like a wedding. There are two types of brides for a wedding. I've been to a lot of weddings. There are brides who think the wedding is about them, right? And they have the wedding in fucking, you know, Italy, and we all have to fly to Italy, and they're like, you know, oh, I'm bringing you guys all to Italy. Guess what? We don't want to go to Italy. None of us want to go to Italy for your wedding. It's $10,000 for us to go to your wedding in Italy. We want to choose our own vacation. You're making us go to Italy because you're making the wedding about you. And there's brides who do that. There's brides where you go to weddings where the wedding is about their guests, you know, and they're putting on a party for their guests. You know, and those are always the best weddings. And so are you the type of performer who's doing this for the audience, or are you doing it for yourself? You know, and if you're doing it for yourself, I think you're gonna be bummed out. You know?
Right. You know, I think you're right. I think you're right. And especially my experience has been, you know, in the Bay Area, we were, you know, where I'm from in San Francisco, we were a really tight-knit community. And coming here to Los Angeles, I've met a lot more people who are bummed out, I guess you would say. Like I was like, whoa, you guys are really jaded. Like, you know, and not you know, but I mean like a lot of people that I've talked to, I'm like, wow, you know, you guys have sort of decided that there's this one set path you have to take. And you and I talked about that a little bit. that you know, because I was saying, John, they tell me if I'm a commercial guy, I can't do other things, and you has said, you know, tell the audience what you said.
I think I said fuck that.
I don't think you said that. We were in public.
Okay,
I don't think you said
okay.
that. Maybe.
But
I don't know.
but I basically, I don't agree. I think what you being interested in doing different things, commercials, Facebook Live, movies, video games, your passion to do all these different things makes you more interesting to me. And hey, I'm in this place now where I'm a producer where I cast actors in things, you know. And when I'm auditioning actors, and it's so weird auditioning actors after being an actor, you know, you just feel for them, you know, and it's just such a trippy thing. But I want those actors to be interesting people to work with, as well as being good at their job. Look, if I cast you on a TV show, hopefully we're going to be doing 5 seasons together, and we're going to be spending a lot of time together on and off the set. I want to cast somebody who's great on camera, but I also want to cast somebody who is great to work with, who brings new perspectives, who, you know, wants to be there, who isn't just focused about himself all the time and how he looks on camera, but is focused on his other players, you know? So I don't know. I think breaking the mold is really the only way to go. I don't see another path. This path of like doing it the way other people are doing it, I don't think that exists, frankly. I think it's a fallacy. But then again, you know, I'm somebody who's found his way in this really bizarro route. So, you know, I am not a mainstream performer in any sense of the word. So
No, but you are the biggest name in the film. You're the one everyone is excited to see. Everyone is excited to work with. I mean, okay, Jesse Heyman, you know, Celine Alva. I mean, there are some huge people. You know, Wesley Ure. This is the part where I'm gonna shout out everybody because Warren loves this part. The producer of the show, Warren Madden, you know, but I want to shout out Wesley Ure and Kathy Coleman, who are also in the film with us, and they are from Land of the Lost. Everyone is excited. Everyone is excited to meet them.
Super cool.
Right. Like that is like super great. And you know, we have Sarah Christine and Liz Fletcher, Scott Crane, who is going to be on the show in upcoming week. I think he's on possibly next week, I think. We also now just cast Tracy Sheldon. She's on, I think, in 2 weeks. Warren schedules the guests. Again, if you want to be on the show, contact Warren Madden. If you want me to wear your shirt, you want promotion, contact Warren Madden. You know, he's your guy. Anyway, speaking of promotion, so the first one you did, and we talked about this a little bit, but you talked about it's 10 items or less is the show that is the show that you sometimes get recognized for, because as the Geico Caveman, you don't necessarily get recognized in public.
No,
you're going to start to more, but
I've never been recognized as the Geico Caveman, which is one of the things I loved about the Geico Caveman. You know, I was making all these commercials, and sometimes when you make a shit ton of commercials, you end up being, you know, it can be problematic. You know, it's hard for, it might be hard for Flo to get another job. I actually auditioned her for a show, and we wanted to cast her, but in the end, Lorraine Newman got it. So, you know, hey, not bad to lose out to Lorraine Newman. But
sure.
But you can get, you know, if you're a spokesperson for commercials, it can be problematic. Let's put it that way. But as the Geico Caveman, I had all of the bonuses of being a spokesperson with none of the downside, because nobody knew what I looked like. So it was so awesome. It was just such a great job.
Right. And so the first one you did was the one in the airport, right? Where you're walking by the airport, you see, is that the first one?
No, the very first commercial was.
Oh, it was the newscaster.
Yeah. Was it?
No, I'm sorry. You tell. It's your show.
No, I was a boom operator, and it was a commercial. It looked like a Geico commercial, and then the spokesperson makes fun of cavemen. He says it's so easy a caveman can do it, and then you hear a sound and the camera pans over and it's me holding a boom mic, and I throw the boom mic down and I say not cool, and I point at him and I storm off the set. That's
Yes,
the very
are you shirtless in that one? Are you wearing no top?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes,
right. I knew it.
Which was a nightmare because they were just figuring out how to do it all. As we did more and more the special effects, it got easier, the makeup, because they figured out shortcuts and things. But this was at the very beginning. So basically the way they decided to make me topless was they just painted glue all over my body and sprinkled fur on it, essentially. I mean, they did more than that. God, they would kill me if they heard me say that. But anyway, it was a lot of glue. And so it was so uncomfortable. Oh God, and I was like, what am I doing? My daughter, my wife brought my daughter to the set of that because my daughter was very young. I can't even remember. She was just old enough to talk, barely talk. And here I am in all the makeup, and my wife brings my daughter to me, and I was kind of worried that I would scare her, and she was unfazed and just pointed at me and said, "Daddy," and just knew I had, none of it was me, none of it,
Right.
except for my eyes, none of it. And how my daughter knew that, it tripped me out. She's the only person ever to recognize me as the Geico Caveman.
That's pretty amazing. So how long does it take in that? Okay, so obviously in other ones you wear suits, and probably the makeup chair takes less time. So how long does the makeup chair take?
A minimum of 3 hours. I would say it's a minimum of 3 hours to put it on, and then depending how much skin I'm showing, more after that. But they started doing it where, like, 2 or 3 people would work on me at the same time. So somebody would work on my legs and arms and chest while somebody else worked on my face, and then there was somebody in charge of the teeth. The teeth were crazy. They were high tech. They weren't like dentures or anything. They were like these things that like hung on my teeth. Like, it was bizarre. I still don't understand exactly how it worked, but they kind of like just snapped on and stayed on. They were amazing. The teeth guy was amazing. There were all kinds of different types of teeth, though, depending on what I was doing. Like if I had to eat, or if I had to, anyway, there was a teeth guy who had a suitcase full of teeth for me.
That's amazing that there's a guy dedicated in Hollywood. There's a guy dedicated to teeth, right? Like, so one of the things people always ask me, I used to know Sid Haig, and, rest in peace, Sid Haig. And, I knew him, and when he played Captain Spaulding in House of 1,000 Corpses, and I would tell people, oh man, I know him, right? Because I was really big in the horror business and the toy business prior to my career as an actor, and so I knew him, and people would say, oh my God, are his teeth? And I go, no, he has regular teeth. He doesn't have teeth like you see him in the movie. They were like, oh my God, is his teeth like that? So that's how good Hollywood is with teeth. They're like insane. So Now, one of the other things that you and I have talked about is when I tell people, well, I know the Geico Caveman, they go, oh yeah, well, which one? And so I think people are under the impression there's a lot of them, but how many are there? There's 3?
Yes, there were 3. There were originally 4, and 4 of us did the first round, and then mainly it was 3. It was me, Jeff, and Ben. And of the 3 of those, Jeff and I did most of them, and between the 2 of us, so I've been told that I've done the most commercials. So yeah, like I said, I did 25 spots. But so Jeff was like the angry, pissed off caveman, and I was more of the happy-go-lucky, caveman. So anyway, but yeah, the 3, Jeff and Ben and I performed in one commercial together. It was a bowling commercial, and we bowled. We were in a bowling alley, and I had to bowl at the top of the commercial, and I bowled a strike, and the director freaked out. It was by accident. You know how, like, when you bowl, I don't know if you I'm not a great bowler, but I happened to bowl a strike. And the director like freaked out. He was like, "Oh my God, that's great!" And then, but the camera was on me bowling, not on the pins. Oh. So then the camera came around, and now he's like, "Okay, bowl another strike." And I was like, okay. And it took like 30 takes, and the crew was just like, please, please, for the love of God, bowl a strike. But then Jeff and Ben and I also did this whole thing. Actually, the guy just sent them to me. There was a website called the Caveman's Crib that Geico put out, where it was like a clickable website. And Ben couldn't do it. So it was me and Jeff and oh God.
We're getting the side of your head right here in this photo, by the way, in your frame. Yeah, your frame is fantastic, by the way.
Oh God.
So anyway, right. Yeah. We always forget people's names. I know it happens on the show. Okay, so you did the commercial. So let me ask you about the Caveman's Crib. Was there ever a spin-off show? I thought Fox. I remember there was a show, right? And but it didn't. It didn't last. But you were on that show, of course.
I was in the pilot only because I had sold my show to TBS, 10 Items or Less, and so I was the lead in that show. So I was under contract. So you can't do two. It's very difficult to do 2 TV shows at the same time. They don't want you to. And I was writing on 10 Items, and I was the showrunner. So there was no way TBS was going to let me do 2 TV shows. And but they asked me to be in the pilot episode of that TV show. And so I played a weatherman, and they didn't have any. I just came in and improvised. So I'm in the pilot, but yeah, that show didn't last very long. It didn't. The world didn't like it.
Right, which is remarkable because the world loved the advertising, but then didn't watch the show, so it just didn't take. Which you just never know, right? You figure it's a hit.
You never know. The people on it were super talented. The directors were the same directors who did all the commercials. I don't know why I didn't go. I mean, I don't know. But we made a commercial for the Super Bowl. It only aired once during the Super Bowl, where it was the Geico Caveman who played in the commercial watching the TV show. And then we turned off the TV show and we looked at each other and like, wow, that didn't sound like us. Like it was hilarious. And it was like it was the real Geico Caveman sort of criticizing the TV show or not being thrilled with the TV show. It was hilarious.
Right. You know what? I may have seen that even because
it was on the show.
And like I said, my dad's a huge fan, so he would have been like, everybody be quiet, the damn commercials are on, so.
You could probably find it on YouTube, I would expect. I have a copy of it. I should post it.
Warren has everything. You should post it, but Warren, he sends me constant stuff. Like, have you seen every single thing John Lehr's ever done? I'm like, of course I have, dude. So, but let's talk about, let's talk about 10 items or less. So, because that is what you're kind of, besides the Geico Caveman, you're known for, you get recognized on the street for, you pitched this idea.
Yeah.
So tell the audience, sort of, what is it about, and your character, you wrote it. How did it happen? How does pitching an idea happen?
Okay. Well, the show is called 10 Items or Less. It was on TBS for 3 seasons. I played the lead. I played the store manager. The show was all the dialogue was entirely improvised. We shot in a real grocery store that was open for business while we shot. So a lot of the customers that you see in the background were real people who were shopping, which is kind of cool. And it did really well. And it still to this day has a following, which is so bizarre. But the way we pitched it was my partner and I, Nancy Hauer and I, had done a film that had won the Slam Dance Awards and the Slam Dance Movie Festival. And it was called Memron, and it made fun of the Enron scandal. That's how long ago this was. And so it made the rounds, and I had already sold a script or 2. I'd done some writing on TV shows. I'd done some acting. I'd been on Friends, and I'd been on Jesse and a few other shows and done some movies. So I had a little traction going there. And all of that combined was enough for us to go in and pitch a TV show to Sony. And we were thinking like, okay, we knew we wanted to do a workplace comedy. Where's a good place to do a workplace comedy? And Nancy was the one who came up with the grocery store. And I was like, that's genius. I couldn't remember a show that had done a workplace comedy in a grocery store. And a grocery store is an interesting place because you can have lots of customers and different people coming in. And we thought it'd be very cool. And we pitched it to Sony. They bought it in the room. And then we shot a presentation pilot with Sony, which basically means a low budget pilot that you use to sell. And then we took that presentation pilot to TBS and they bought it. And then we made an actual pilot for them and they picked up the show and we ended up making 3 seasons. And that was the beginning of my career as a showrunner creator guy, you know?
So, right. So can you tell us where the actual grocery store is? Can the people know that?
Yeah, of course. In Encino, which is in the Valley.
Right.
By the way, if you want to shoot a show and you don't want to be bothered by the executives very much, shoot a show in the Valley during summer because they will.
Because it's 1,000 degrees, right? Like that's why
1,000 degrees. Yeah. It was. We didn't plan that, but it was fun. It was amazing. And they rarely came because it was so hot. But yeah, it was in Encino, which is best known for porn, basically. So porn and meth. That's probably what Encino's best known for. And so we shot there at Sean.
No, it's best known for Brandon Fraser, dude. It's not meth and porn. It's best known for Brandon Fraser. Come on.
Okay, that's
Encino Man. He's from
Encino
there.
Man. Oh, God, yes. I auditioned for Encino Man. I auditioned for that show. Didn't get it. But yeah, it was. So it was great.
Now I see why you didn't mention it. Now I'm sorry. You're right. It's porn and meth. I'm sorry, John. I touched on a sore subject. You're right. Encino's known for porn and meth. Oh. It's not Brandon Fraser. It's not that movie. Ugh, that movie.
No, I have not. No, man. I think I dodged a bullet there, actually.
Really? Right? Because everyone still loves you, and they're only now just loving him again. So before I get to your, I promised the audience a giveaway. Give me a moment. I got to take a moment to give away. I love this conversation. I want to talk about your moment on Friends here. But before we get to Friends, I promised the audience Toy of the Week. It's a new segment. And here it is. It's this dinosaur I picked from my collection. It's a 1986 Imperial.
Is that Brontosaurus?
Yeah, isn't it fresh though? Check it out. So this Toy of the Week, and so the answer is going to be Pink Dino. Pink Dino is going to be the Toy of the Week for the answer, and I'm going to give away this. It's a bullet wound from the set of Justice for Lizzie, and I was in that movie. Cool. And we didn't use this. She died a different way, so this is an unused prop from that, and I'm going to give it away. But the answer you're looking for in the competition here is Pink Dino. So back to the show. Tell us, John, you're ineligible for the competition, and any family of yours, of course, any members of the.
In a pilot, a Jon Favreau pilot, I got shot in. I got machine gunned. And it was amazing. And this is where they still put squibs in you that blew up. Now they don't really do that anymore.
Right.
But they had all these little firecrackers woven into my costume. And I got to do one of those, as they machine gunned me. It was awesome.
Yes. So like you said, they don't do practical too much anymore. They've really moved towards CGIing those bullet shots. And especially for guys in my field, independent filmmakers, we do, and so it's a lot of, cock back your hand because there is nothing coming out of the gun. And it's a lot of learning to take a hit, and falling. And so you sort of inevitably have stunt training through accident, through getting shot on film all the time.
Yeah.
So tell us about Friends, because that's another thing. So one thing, when I told people, when that picture of us came out online, which did very well for my, my numbers, people said, hey, is he the guy in Friends? So tell us about your role in Friends, because obviously that's a big show. And, you know, I hate to go to these properties. I like to stay indie, but tell us about Friends.
Oh, well, no, Friends was, changed my life, really. I mean, I've done a lot of little guest spots on stuff, but as you said, Friends was a hit show. And, God, I was pretty broke at that point. And I landed Friends, and it was a very small part. I'm only in like 3 scenes. But I'll tell you, though, my daughter, of all the stuff I've done, all the films and TV shows and all the stuff I did, she could care less. But I'm on Friends for 3 seconds, and she's like, "Oh my God, Dad!" You know, that's the only thing. But it was really fun. They were really nice to me. I had known David Schwimmer. It didn't get me the job, unfortunately, but I had known him because we both went to Northwestern together in Chicago, and we were both in theater companies at the same time that kind of shared equipment, and he was in a theater company called Looking Glass, well-regarded theater company, still in Chicago, and I was in a theater company called ED, which was this kind of fast-paced, stream-of-conscious improv show. And so anyway,
we know what ED means. It's cool.
Yeah, so we traded equipment like lights, all kinds of things, and supported each other's theaters, and we were kind of sister theater companies in some ways. And so I knew him, and he had anyway. But so when I went on the set, he was like, "John and David," you know, that was kind of cool. That made me feel less nervous, you know. But yeah, it was you know what was interesting on that show was I played, it was a flashback episode, and I played, what's his face's roommate before Joey. I played Chandler's roommate before he became roommates with Joey.
Right.
So that was the episode. And so I had long hair then, and like I do now, and they put me in a suit, like a fancy suit. I still have the suit, and I was a photographer who shot models, and my sister was in porn, and Chandler was just like, "Oh my God, he's the dream, he's the dream roommate." But I can't remember why he didn't. I can't remember what happened, but I didn't become his roommate, obviously. But I can't remember what happened in the episode. I did something wrong or something. God, what the hell happened?
I know that the people go, "Is that the guy who's doing porn?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, so I apparently have not seen your Friends work, because I didn't have a clue that you were. Wait, what? Say it again.
Don't blink, you'll miss it.
Yeah, you know, so I recently did this thing, and we were talking about it because we both have children, and I did this thing for Collins Key. And I can say it now because the video came out, and we were all excited. And oh man, I shot all this brilliant comedy, and I did all this brilliant improv stuff. And I saw the video, and it was like, I was like, dude, I wasn't even in it. I was like, what? You know, and so my kids were like, "Oh, Dad, it was cool. You got to meet him," and you know, all this stuff. So it's weird what we do as actors that validate us. Like, you know, like,
you'll love this. You'll love this. After I shot that Friends episode, David invited me out to go have a drink after we wrapped, and all 3 guys from Friends, Joey, Chandler, David, and I, all went out together, and we went down to Beverly Hills, and we went to this office building. It looked like an office building, but this is like late at night. This is like 11 p.m. And we're in the office building, and we go in, and we push the elevator and go down to the basement. And the doors open up, and there's this bouncer there. And we come into this exclusive nightclub, which was all like they were all models. Like every woman there was like a fashion model. And boy, of course, they went nuts over the cast of Friends. Not so much over me.
Right.
But it was trippy. It was like my first like inside look at the underground party scene of LA. It was so funny.
So yeah, so that shows the difference, because I didn't even know that existed. So I have a long way to go to get to the underground party scene. I'm still on the rooftop level.
Yeah, nobody knew this existed. This was like A-list only, special, private, no signs. You had to know the special code word, all that crap. It was so funny.
Wow. So knowing David Schwimmer did not get you the job. So did you auditioned for that then?
Yeah, I auditioned. It was it was just a special guest role, so it was a 1 episode only. I auditioned. Oh, I auditioned for an episode and got the job, but then the job got cut. It was me and oh God, me and Peter DeLuise. Remember Peter DeLuise? He
Of
was
course.
on 21 Jump Street.
Absolutely.
Peter
My wife will
DeLuise.
love that you mentioned Peter DeLuise. Oh my God. My wife is like, oh my God, Peter DeLuise, like in everything. Yeah, she loves it. Right.
So, such a nice guy. And he and I both got cast in this episode, but then they cut my part. They kept him, but they cut my part. Not because they didn't like me. They just rewrote the episode. It happens all the time.
Of course.
And Marta Kaufman, who was the producer of Friends, one of the producers, said to me, "Don't worry, John. This had nothing to do with you. We're going to have you back." And I was like, "That's very nice for you to say, but I'm not holding my breath, And sure enough, another episode came around and she hired me back, and that's how I got it. And then, David didn't know anything about it until I got on set. He was like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm playing Chandler's roommate." He's like, "Oh my God." That's cool.
So not only, right. So you weren't even in a scene with him though. You just knew you were just on the same set.
I don't think I had a scene with him. No, I would have remembered that. No, I had a scene in the hallway, the scene in Chandler's apartment. I feel like I had a scene with one of the women. God, I can't remember, dude. I know that sounds like
I know it's unreal. It's unreal what you can't remember in this business. And people think, I go, man, I'm not even sure. I can't remember what I did, and I don't remember. And and my wife is like, "That's why you got to keep track. That's why you got to keep this thing." And I'm like, you know what? I can't do all that either. All this stuff. So we're kind of running out of time. I don't want to neglect coffee breaks. The reason that we're here, Coffee Breaks Thursdays is what brought us together, but Coffee Breaks the film. I want to shout that out real quick before we get to a few more points. Thank you to Tracy Simpson, the writer, and Matt Sly, director. Thank you to Warren Madden, producer, or producer of our show, Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus, and also to the rest of the cast. I'm not going to necessarily rename them all again, but we are here because of the movie Coffee Breaks. So let's talk about that. When you read the script, and you said you want to help people, but you don't take every single job you get. When you read the script for Coffee Breaks, what was your thought on that?
I thought it was a really solid film. I really liked the way it told this sort of ensemble story, and I thought the characters were well drawn. I just liked it. And when she sent it to me, she wasn't asking me to play a part. I don't think so. I just read it and liked the film, and I think I said, "Hey, how can I help?" And then later she said, "Will you play this part?" I think, Tracy, if I'm getting this wrong, just I'm sorry, but
it was a while ago.
I wasn't really thinking of myself as an actor in it. I was more just thinking of somebody who wanted to support getting a film done that was good,
Right. So obviously you don't want to get bombarded with scripts now from our audience and those kind of things. So please don't send John all your scripts, guys. He's very busy. But John, what would you recommend to somebody? In your experience, you do a lot of pitches, and I'm not saying necessarily give up your game or something, but what can you tell people who are up and coming, who want to pitch a script, who want to get that exposure? What would you tell them?
Well, I would say it's the hardest thing to do. One of the hardest things to do. Probably up there with getting elected to a public office. It's really difficult because there's a lot of people who are trying to do that. So there are ways of going about it. I think if you write the script, obviously, that's a good thing to do. And then to do a reading with your friends is a great idea, because then your friends or actors, you can put it up there on Craigslist or whatever, put it on social media to say, "Hey, I want to do a Zoom reading of my script." Highly recommend that. And then, you follow your contacts. Don't feel badly about sending it out. That's what anybody would do. That's what you do. You're a business person. You send your script out. If they don't want to read it, fine. But then I would say shoot something, shoot something. Don't just write this script, send it out to a bunch of agents and producers, and then if none of them bite, give up. Don't do that. Shoot something and try to get it into a festival or something. That's a great way. Shooting is what it's all about. It's not about writing. Writing is a part of shooting, right? So when you're a writer and you actually get something you've written shot, you learn so much as a writer. And so it's a win-win situation. Even if you shoot something and it's crap and it goes nowhere, I feel like a writer definitely learns what works and what doesn't. And so, yeah, those are my recommendations.
And so as an actor then too, as a comedian, you came from improv training, you came from those trainings, which obviously you feel, so would you also recommend then training? I mean, I'm assuming you would.
Yeah, acting classes are, if you come out to LA to be an actor, get into acting classes. Not just to learn something, you will, but not just about that, but because then you're surrounding yourself with people who are trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. And they're trying to get agents, they're trying to get noticed, they're trying to break in. And so when you're around those kinds of people, you can learn from them and you can support each other. So yeah, I would highly recommend that if you're an actor. Also, getting into student films in LA, highly recommend, because it'll give you tape. It'll give you experience with people in LA, and the crews that you'll be working with, even though they're student films, they're people who are going to be breaking into LA anyway, and they'll remember you. So those are the first things, very first. And then theater in LA, people come to LA, they want to be in films. They're like, why should I do theater? Well, everybody who's coming to those theaters to watch that theater are in the business. So they'll be looking at you and say, oh my God, I love that guy in this play. I want to bring him into my short film I'm doing or whatever, You're in the community and you're being active in the community. And then shoot your own stuff. Do what you're doing, man. Get yourself out there. You're going to be big.
Well, don't do what I'm doing. Get your own idea.
Yeah, don't do what he's doing.
Right.
Do what he's doing.
Exactly.
I think you're going to be huge. You're motivated, you're handsome, you're talented, you put yourself out there, you're a good guy. I think you're going to do great in this business.
Well, thank you. But the show's about you today. So, I'd say the same thing about you. You're motivated, you're handsome. I think you're going to do great. And I think once you get this technology figured out, you're going to really, really soar here. So
it's too late for me, dude. I'm too old.
There's no way.
I'm such an idiot with this stuff.
They keep saying, no, that you can do it. You can do it at any age. And I'm like, dude, right? Like at some point we're getting aged out of. I can't even figure out Facebook Live. I couldn't figure out how to invite you. Like, you know what I mean? Like at some point we're gonna knock at the job because we can't figure out self tapes. Like,
I mean, I do a podcast and we broadcast the taping of it on Facebook Live, but we do it through Zoom. And Zoom has an option where it says just share on Facebook Live. So I've never done anything directly on Facebook Live before. So I was like, Warren had prompted me for it. And I was like, oh, this has got to be easy. And I went on and I was like, I don't know what to do. And I'm doing it from my car because I had to take my wife to her car, just got worked on. Her fancy car.
You're so funny. You guys are, you guys, my dad's going to be like, Jason, they're always in a car. My dad always comments. I'm going to be like, see, your idol, he was in a car. That means it's legit TV. So,
look, this is LA. We're always in cars, always.
Right. There's a song about how nobody walks in LA. I'm not sure you've ever heard it. I think it's a pretty rare song. I don't think anybody's ever heard that song.
I don't see anybody walking around here. That's for sure.
That's what I'm talking about. Nobody walks in LA. So, John, you know what? I got to shout out Coffee Breaks Thursdays. I got to shout out Warren Madden, our producer of Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. I got to shout out Tracy Simpson, Matt Sly, my co-stars in the film, next week's guest, Scott Crane. John, thank you for taking us on your world tour. your fabulous career. It's going to be a pleasure to film with you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. You know, thank you. And before we go, the answer is Pink Dino. For those who didn't see the show, it's Pink Dino is your answer to win the prize that we're giving away on the show this week. It's an unused prop from Justice for Lizzie, a Lifetime movie I'm in. John, before we take off, if the people want to find you, if they want to hire you for motivational speaking, hire you for comedy, hire you for whatever, how can they find you? Is
JohnLehr.com, JohnLehr.com. Or Facebook. JohnLehr.com is probably the best.
JohnLehr.com. Okay, JohnLehr.com, right? Yes, I knew it, but I was like, oh my God, don't spell it wrong here on live TV. So, you know, that's the best way to find him. Or on Facebook, you know, he's invited you to that for being an audience of Coffee Breaks Thursdays with Jason Zlatkus. Thank you again, Warren Madden, our producer. And thank you, John Lehr, our guest, for joining us. We'll see you soon, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Take care.
Bye.